Welcome to Al and the High. Two friends talking crypto and sports. Let's get it.
Brady play action. Looking. Third option. End zone. Caught! Gronkowski again with the touchdown. Fournette. Touchdown. Tampa Bay. Curry way downtown. Bang! Steph Curry from just inside half court.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Al and the Hot Podcast. Today, we're going to dive into the Super Bowl, break it down a little bit, and I'll probably jump into some NBA action. So, Tampa Bay ends up pulling it out and whooped that ass. Obviously, we called it that way, but
yeah, they got after him, man. They did. They were able to get that pressure with the four down linemen. And we touched on that, you know, and they were able to, and we saw they were doubling Tyreek. And although Kelsey got a little something underneath in the beginning, Bush was on his ass, and so was the other. Yeah,
Levante David and Devin White were all over him.
Yeah, Devin White, not Bush. Yeah, they were all over his ass all night. So and I mean, I think the stat was what Mahomes ran for like
497 yards before he threw a pass.
Away from them.
That is absurd. So yeah, Tampa wins 31-9, and it was unbelievable. I just sat back and I kind of thought about it after, you know, I didn't want to like make a major reaction. Obviously, that's why I kind of like doing the sports ones, at least with the football stuff. A couple of days after, you can kind of digest some stuff instead of just reacting to it. But you have to put that on Andy Reid in the coaching staff. Like, I'm gonna be honest, dude. Like, you go into the game with, I get it, you have some injuries up front.
Yeah.
But you end up like moving guys around. You really only started one backup. Like the one tackle had been hurt like all year. And then they end up moving guys around. But like if you don't you expect that and have some type of contingency plan where it's like, oh, we can't get this time. Well, like they sat in like a too high safety. I think I read it was like 80% of the time, and they didn't even try to run the ball. And then they come out in the second half and did it. And went right down the field, and then they got out of it again. Like, I don't get it.
As soon as they sat, and I looked, I was noticing. I was like, okay, these fools are sitting, and because they kept showing it, and that too high, and those fuckers were deep.
Way deep.
You have to run the ball. You have to. There's no way you're going to get anything. At least with Tyreek, it ain't happening.
Right.
And then they were obviously doubling. They were so concerned with taking away Kelsey and Tyreek. You got would you go out and get Le'Veon Bell for? Would you go out and get? I mean, and even the rookie is good.
Williams.
Yeah, like
Le'Veon, did he even play? I don't know if he was hurt or not, but it just boggled my mind.
That's the only thing they could have done.
Well, and you really think about it, like what is Andy Reid? What was Andy? I don't, Andy Reid's knock back at Philly was they just never ran the ball. Like you get into those situations. It's fine and dandy when it's working, but it was always that knock. Like he just didn't run the ball enough. But yeah, when you sit down and look at what they did, and we talk about the too high safety looks. It seemed like when Tyreek was outside, so like when he was playing like the X receiver, like the number one receiver, they would roll like a cloud cover 3 look where they play the guy on him underneath, and they
were doing the Trent Irwin
safety
on his
over.
ass.
Yeah. And
remember when I said they had the Trent Irwin in his ass?
They did.
That's what they were doing.
They moved coverage to him, and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you not make adjustments for that? How do you not have some type of contingency or come off the sideline and tell Mahomes to take the checkdowns? Like, stop trying to throw it deep every play,
or run the fucking ball. How about that?
Yeah. Check into a run play, dude. Like,
because obviously the backers are playing pass too.
Yeah,
like they're all over your best tight end. So run the ball.
And that was the thing. They were. You could see. I think they showed one highlight of like Levante David like getting all over Kelsey. Like he came off and just was flat-footed, heavy-footed, and just popped him. Like they were going to be physical with him and make him work for it.
Yeah,
and he really didn't. He had that one big catch for like 30 yards. I think it was right at the beginning of the fourth or something. But
up to that point and after, nothing.
Yeah,
he was locked down. They were all locked down.
Well,
You
yeah,
got
if you,
Mahomes throwing balls when he's parallel to the ground.
God, that was an incredible
He got-
throw, by the way.
And got
But,
it there.
like, dotted
By the
dude
way.
in the face mask. Like, the freaking running back drops that. He had the other one where he was on the sideline, scrambling left, got spun around a couple times, threw it, and
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill dropped it.
yeah.
But he had multiple plays where
That's not the way you win a game,
no.
let alone the Super Bowl against Tom Brady.
Yeah, and it's almost like they just went arrogant. Like there was no adjustment either at halftime. It was like they went in at halftime, and they're like, "Oh, we'll
get it together.
We'll get it. Mahomes will do his thing, and we'll get it." And you go back and look at, first quarter. Both go. I think the Bucs went 3 and out that first series.
Yep.
Kansas City moved it a little bit, but ended up punting. They went back, and then Kansas City drove down the field, or Kansas City got that field goal, and Tampa went right down the field. And talk about like great play calling.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw like just
they ran the ball,
ran the ball, play action, screens, like,
and people running butt naked, wide open too.
Yeah, they definitely got out. Kansas City definitely got out coached for sure in that game. And then, like we touched on up front, both sides of the ball, though, that was what was great. Like Tampa Bay's offensive line gave it to Kansas City.
Yep.
And then obviously
Fournette rolling.
Got Fournette rolling. Even RJ
punishing that safety, that corner.
Yeah, Rojo was having some good runs. He obviously got stuffed early in that. What was that first quarter on that fourth down?
Yeah, the goal line stand.
Which I don't know why you don't put Fournette in for that. He outweighs him by probably 20 pounds. Rojo's a big kid, but he ain't Fournette.
He ain't 240. Yeah, he ain't 6'2", 240. So yeah, I don't really get that call either. But I mean, ultimately in the end, it really didn't matter. I also heard that Mike Evans is already told Tampa Bay that, hey, I'll take less money to keep the team together. If they keep that team together, and if they improve it, like I don't even know where necessarily they can improve, because the defense is rock solid, the offense is loaded.
Right.
So if they actually keep that team together and maybe get some good draft picks that can plug, I don't even know the holes, but can help just fill in, improve the special teams, who knows?
Yeah,
I think they have to be the favorite to get in, because it doesn't matter almost what they do in the regular season. It's almost like, kind of like LeBron. Hey, if he gets in the dance, then there's going to be problems.
Yeah. When you talked about that with Brady, I mean, that was your biggest thing with Brady. As much as we were picking, other teams potentially, I think we ended up, obviously, I think we both, did I go with Green Bay? I don't even remember at this point, but you even said it before the playoffs started, though, and I kind of agreed with you. I couldn't argue with you. It was like Tom Brady in the playoffs, man. Like he's got that bag.
On a neutral site, ultimately, because the crowd really can't get into it. Like, they had to take the hard route. They had to go through the wild card road. But ultimately, even Green Bay, he's a cold war at the quarterback. That didn't bother him at all. But there wasn't 70,000 fans making it hard.
Right.
There was 20,000, and they're making. You can still hear the checks, on TV when you're listening to the game.
No,
so it's hard to beat that, man. And he made mistakes, and the defense bailed him out.
That's the thing. He made mistakes in Green Bay. Defense bailed him out, and then honestly, like, so first half, you saw all over Twitter, there, people talking about the penalties, like the pass interference and all that kind of stuff. And for the most part, I thought there was a couple that were, tic tac, and
but they were holding on like bad. In the championship game against Buffalo, Buffalo had no separation. I know, and they get no calls.
I
Andy Reid was in their ear.
But the thing is, so obviously, I think the one early where Tyrann Mathieu had that pick and they called it off because Mike Evans got held. Yeah, that was kind of ticky tack.
I don't know about that.
The one where Mike Evans, they called PI where they tripped over each other's feet. I don't like the call. I see where because the biggest issue with that one was they did trip over each other's feet, but then the DB, when he was falling, reached out for Mike Evans. So if the ref is seeing that and turning, it looks like he's grabbing him. And so I get that call, and I don't, people were saying it was uncatchable. Not if Mike Evans is freaking not falling,
running.
If he's running full speed and he's 6'5", he can go get that ball, or at least get fingertips.
You have a chance, and that's enough.
And then the other one in the end zone with Tyrann Mathieu, that's one of those tough plays, man. And people can say what they want to about, it should have been a penalty, but that's the NFL nowadays. So with the DBs at a disadvantage, the ball's in the air and he's making contact with the receiver. Like I get it.
Dry.
Maybe it was, it did hit the wall in the back of the end zone, but again, Mike Evans is 6'5", and so if he's able to get free of there and get up, maybe he gets a hand on it or something. But the thing is even if you sit there and look at those and say, God, the refs were horrible in the first half, the second half didn't matter. Like they got their ass whooped so bad. The refs in the first, it didn't matter. Like it totally took that part of it. They never scored a touchdown.
You say whatever you can say. Whatever anybody can say whatever they want. All these KC fans can say whatever they want. But the fact of the matter is you guys never sniffed pay dirt.
Right.
And Brady got his team into the end zone over and over and over. I mean, geez Louise, Gronk had two. Antonio Brown had one. Like what?
Yeah, Gronk had 2 touchdowns. Let me see if I can pull this up and play it. Him and Tom Brady had a pretty funny exchange after the game.
Way to go, buddy. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is tutties. Two tutties. I was saving them for the Super Bowl. You did it! You called out, baby. You called out. Way to go. You let us hear it, dog. Way to go. Yes. So proud of you.
I don't know if you could hear that or not. The
I did, man.
The funny part was that when I first watched that is the guy that's like 2 tutties. That's Tom Brady. Like I always thought when I first watched it, I thought it was Gronk, but like
they're kids, man.
They're kids, dude. And you saw like when they're celebrating, we talked about that like with the boat and all that stuff today. Like he's having a good time, dude. Like I've never seen him so loose.
That's not the Patriot way.
It's not the Patriot way, man. But you know what? Like he's deserved it, dude. Like he goes down there and he changes the culture. It's been talked about, and they end up pulling it off, dude. And it wasn't even close. Like he played lights out. I don't think he made it. I mean, I don't remember him making even close to a bad decision. Like it wasn't even. I mean, and granted, he had clean pocket. Like there was nobody near him all night. But you look at the game plan.
But they also, they ran the ball.
Well, they ran the ball when they went play action. They had other, when they were in those running formations, they brought in an extra lineman. So it's almost like they had that script. They had that script for that first series or two, whatever the case maybe they were rolling off of. But once they figured out what they needed to do, you know what I'm saying? And then honestly, it turned into they just started manhandling them. It didn't matter what they did. Yeah,
they're getting manhandled on both sides of the line.
It was one of those things where it was up front. It was like, Byron Leftwich kind of noted, like it just kind of was like, they can't stop us up front. Like, let's just stick in this. And, it's good on their part. You have to be able to adjust in game. And that's what I'm saying. Like the Patriots or the Buccaneers, they did nothing to adjust. Or not the Buccaneers, the Chiefs.
I mean, Chiefs. Yeah. And then they got to the point where they were just bringing people.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't bring people against Tom Brady.
No.
You better get there.
Yeah. And they ran that. Fournette scored that touchdown. Was it third quarter? Like that was a great play call. Like you could tell they were bringing pressure. They run the counter off the edge, and he's off to the races. It wasn't.
He was 1-on-1 with corners. He was getting 1-on-1 with corners, 6-7 yards down the field.
Running 20, running duo. Out of basically people that don't know, like duo is essentially all down blocks on the line, and you're putting your corner or your
receiver goes block to safety.
Receiver goes to the safety or the linebacker, and you have running back on corner. And,
all day. Take it.
And Rojo was, running those early. He was bouncing outside of those, on that 26 duo and pounding on the corners. But it was such a mismatch. Like as a coach, I think, I think the regular fans are obviously, if you're a Bucs fan, you're excited about it, but I think it was kind of a disappointment just because it didn't live up to the hype of it, I think. But I feel like as a coach, as I was watching it, like it was phenomenal. Like to see the chess match, not even the chess match really, but the
somebody
game plan.
Playing chess, someone else was playing checkers.
But just to see the game plan unfold for Tampa Bay was like, as a coach, like fun to watch. Like I've always, I think the longer we've coached, I've gotten more into just watching games for X's and O's. We always text about, plays or whatever and that kind of thing. But it's more about when I'm watching a game, it was 31-9, but I was like fully enthralled in it. Like I did not walk away. I didn't wasn't like, oh, this is a blowout, it's over or whatever. And honestly, like I wasn't even after. I think the second drive the Chiefs had in the third quarter, like I knew. I'm like, it's over. Like they're not winning.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Me too.
they made no adjustments. That first drive, they ran the ball. They came out. I think they ran the ball the first play, and Hilaire broke
it
for
came
like
out.
30.
Yeah, no, it came out looking good.
Yeah, and so you're thinking, okay,
and then,
but it just went right back to slinging it all over the place. And you know, it's kind of interesting. You go back and look first quarter or first half. You know, towards the end of the first half, it was 14-6. Kansas City ends up putting it back to the Bucs. I think there was like just over a minute left on the clock.
Yeah,
and Tampa runs it.
Well,
and Tampa runs it, and KC calls timeouts, which I'm fine with because it's like we're down 8.
Yeah, right.
You know,
trying to get it back, get the ball back after the half.
Yeah, and so it's because it was like 2nd and 8, but then they ran it again and it turned into like 3rd and 1, and they burned another timeout. And so now I think there was like 50 seconds left on the clock. You've just helped them because, and then they end up getting a first down and get down the field. Whereas if they would have just let the clock run out, they would have went to halftime down 14-6. Now, obviously, the score doesn't reflect of that or change anything. But when you sit there and look at it, it's like the Green Bay game last week. Like it's almost like just that back-breaking like score that here you are, you're only down 8 points, and you end up calling timeouts, and then you end up going down 15 points going into half.
Yeah, thought they were going to get the stop, but
yeah, and you know, I don't know. I just feel
it hurt.
I like Andy Reid, and we've talked about Bieniemy on the podcast. I think they're good. They just thoroughly got out coached. So did the defensive coordinator Spagnuolo. It was almost like they took that week. What was it? 12 game that they beat them.
They thought their athletes were just going to go out there and just out athlete them again.
Yeah,
and they figured like we'll just we'll see what they come out with. We'll make our adjustments if we have to. But they never thought they would come out and just catch it like the way they caught it.
Right. And
all that shit wasn't working. And then they were not in the mode to commit to we need to run the ball and do play action and swap this shit up because this stuff we're doing in the first half ain't working. And if anytime, I understand you don't necessarily abandon the game plan in any way, but there is no next week.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is it.
Yeah. You try to make adjustments, you do whatever, you throw whatever you've had all year at that point to get it done. I saw something interesting. You know, they Tampa lost to Kansas City. I think it was week 12, maybe week 11. And it was ended up being, I think it was 28-25. Tampa was up. That was the Tyreek Hill one for like 2:06 in the first quarter. And Tampa was up Kansas City was up 17-0 on them in the first quarter. And from that point on, so the rest of the 7 quarters that Tampa Bay and Kansas City played, Tampa Bay outscored Kansas City. I think it was 56, if I'm doing the math right, 56 to like 18 or something.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm just trying to think of 56 to 20. But when you sit there and look at it, so you go into that first game as if you're Kansas City, you beat them, but essentially you lost 3 quarters of that game. Like Kansas City jumped out on them. Tampa Bay figured out whatever, made some adjustments, and they lost 28-25. But to be down 17-0 and get it to that point, as Kansas City, it's like they came into the Super Bowl like, oh, we beat them that game. Let's just run the same game plan. It's like whereas Tampa's looking at it like, okay, well, what did we do different? What worked? And they rolled with that. And you saw the adjustments on defense, obviously. But when you get in situations like that and you just got thoroughly outcoached on the biggest stage of the year, it just is mind-boggling. But
there were signs. Like when you looked at KC play, like, you know, they Raiders played them tough 2 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Teams were playing them tough, and then it would come down to the point where, okay, Mahomes, are you going to go win it for us?
Right.
And he would.
Yeah. No, we talked about that multiple times. You know, it was kind of when he's got the ball in his hands late in the game, if they needed to score, they'd get it, or if they had to keep the ball, they'd keep it. And he just never had that chance.
Nah.
And it it buckled. Like they had, and we touched on, I think I touched on it before, you know, we talked about, you know, trying to take Tyreek, doubling him up, putting somebody way over the top. And then, you know, I brought it up, like those two linebackers, Levante David and Devin White. Like they have enough speed. Like Levante David by like Pro Football Focus is the best rated linebacker against the pass. It has been for like multiple years. And so we touched on it. Like they have enough speed that they could cover those guys and they could keep up with Kelsey. And I brought that up. Not that they were going to shut him down, but they could do some damage.
They did enough,
and do enough.
And hit him. They hit him when they had
thinking about it. What did you think about Antoine Winfield Jr. giving Tyreek the deuces at the end of the game?
Shit. Tyreek gave him the deuces and backflipped on him,
right?
Or front flipped on him. I have no issue with that.
Oh, I don't either. I was laughing at it because I was actually thinking about it. I was like, the same thing. I'm like, this motherfucker, he deserves that.
Yeah. You wanna clown people going in all throughout the year.
Yeah.
Finish it off.
And it just wasn't Tampa that he did that to. He did that to multiple people.
Oh yeah, multiple people. But hey, don't let him score, and they didn't. So he deuced him up. Man. Peace. I guess I'll see you next year.
Yeah, right. AB, I mean, he didn't have a very big game. He had a couple. He had that. I mean, I texted you after he scored that touchdown. It was a great whip route.
Yeah, great route. Yeah, great route. Great route. Sold him. Darren Matthews can play some slot too.
Yeah, and beat Matthew on, and him and Brady got into it there. It was kind of funny. Like don't wake the monster, dude.
Yeah, Don't poke the bear.
Yeah. But it was a great game. I felt like it obviously kind of sad that Super Bowl's over, football season's over, but it is what it is. There was one funny part of the Super Bowl. I don't know if you saw it, but this was the streaker. I don't know if you heard.
But there was a bet on the streaky. There was a bet on it.
Here's the thing. I heard about this. So supposedly he said he made like 7 digits or something, or 6 digits on the bet, right? Because it was like there was a bet, like
$500 fine or something.
Yeah, there was one of the prop bets, but I was listening to the radio show out here. They brought it up, and the one guy is like way into betting. Like they always have the bets on like every day. They're like, you know, betting on games, and obviously you can't bet on sports in Omaha, but you can in Iowa. So we're literally like, I'm 15 minutes from like 3 or 4 like riverboat like casinos like on the Missouri River here. So you could I could go drive over there and place bets and be cool. But so they always talk about it. And he said he went and looked because he heard about that story. And like, I forgot what the odds were on it, but there was no bet like higher than like $2,000. So they're and I don't even think it was that high, but it was whatever it was nowhere near high enough to get him 6 digits. So whether he did it or not, he more likely didn't make that much money. But I don't know if you heard the Kevin Harlan was announcing the game for one of the radio stations, and he was doing the streaking. I don't know if you heard that. Kevin Harlan usually does like NBA games.
Basketball.
Yeah. Let's all play that right now. It was funny as hell.
3 to go. Someone has run on the field. Some guy with a bra. And now he's not being chased. He's running down the middle, the 40. Arms in the air in a victory salute. He's pulling down his pants. Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants. He's being chased to the 30. He breaks a tackle from a security guard. The 20, down the middle, the 10, the 5. He slides at the 1, and they converge on him at the goal line.
There's a late hit.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man. And the players with hands on hips at the other end of the field are looking at him and shaking their head and saying, why, oh why, is this taking place in a Super Bowl?
It was funny because Kevin Harlan's he's kind of that funny announcer for basketball. He's always got the high energy, makes some funny comments sometimes, but I just thought that was classic.
Yeah, that's funny.
But
they lit his ass up in the end zone.
Lit him up, targeting, bro. Dude was laying on the ground and just 2 of the security guards just pounced on him. How do you feel though if you're the one security guard got shook by him and went down? It was at the 20.
They're gonna clown the shit out
of him, bro. And he's goes down, starts pulling up his pants because they're falling off. Oh god, that was bad.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
So yeah, Tom Brady, man, wins another one. Obviously the GOAT. We talked about that before. It's not even close.
I can't even really deny it. No one can deny it. He has more than any franchise. Like,
yeah, that's the crazy
what can
stat.
you really say?
Like you sit there and look at it, he's got 7. With I think the Steelers and Patriots have 6, and the Cowboys and 49ers have 5.
And then he got like 4 after the age of 37.
Yeah.
Like what do you want to do with him?
I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, and you know, you sit and think about it.
Took a middle of the road team in 1 year to the Super Bowl and won it.
Right.
Through the wild card.
Without
beating Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees.
Without his quote
and
unquote.
topped it off by beating Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, right? Without his quote unquote system coach, right? Like everybody called him a system QB, but he shit, I forgot what I was gonna say now. Oh, but you think about it, you know, Mahomes was, you know, quote unquote the guy that was gonna, you know, end up taking his crown, right? And we sit and think about it. If Mahomes wins that game and it keeps it at 6-2, with Mahomes being as young as he is, you sit there and you got some action in it. But with it going 7-1, it is such a bigger gap to get to. You got to think he's got to win 6 more just to tie him.
Well, here's the thing about it,
and who knows, he may win another one.
And he's showing up. If they keep that team together, they have to be the favorites. But you think of it like this: Mahomes would have to, like, his style of play. Like, Brady was never mobile.
No.
He was never mobile. I think Mahomes has to go get toe surgery this year.
Yeah.
Him improvising and moving around and all that kind of stuff, that's part of his game. And it's going to deteriorate over time, but that's never been part of Tom Brady's game.
No.
So him getting older and his mind getting sharper, it's going to happen with Mahomes too, but I don't see Mahomes playing for 20 years. I just don't see it.
He runs around too much. He holds onto the ball. He got, guys, there was one
crack.
Him, Sue,
Louise,
Barrett, and Pierre Paul, or one of them, just annihilated him. Like all 3 of them hit him at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But
I thought they were going to flag him.
I did. Well, that one they did. I think they got Sue, but it was like on because he went low. He was like coming up. He like went around him and then went back. So he got him low, and the other 2 hit him. So I think they got Sue for getting low. That one they threw the flag on. The other one later in the game when Sue hit him, like gave him a forearm shiver and knocked him over. They didn't call that one, which I thought they would, but I agree with you though. He's not.
Because you got to think 10 years, another 10 years, another 12 years. Like, okay,
he ain't going to be running around like that though.
Yeah, but it like Brady is working on. This is close to year 20, ain't it? If this is it year 20?
That was year 20, I think.
And then the cool part about it is he's talking about he wants to play 45 or some shit like that, another 2 or 3 years. So you're telling me he can't play another 2 years? He can't play 2 years?
The way he plays, he can, because he's not like we touched on. Like they're not like their play action, their screens. He takes his little deep shots here and there, but he's making the right decisions and moving the ball. So it's
getting rid of it. Mm-hmm.
It's definitely gonna be interesting. I did see something. Mike Evans made a comment about taking some of his salary, like restructuring his deal to keep some of the guys, because I know Godwin is up for a contract. Obviously AB, because he only said the 1 year. Levante David on defense is up, and then Dominican Sue is up. Shaq Barrett is up. So they've got some guys that they got to keep that roster together. But and you have to think that secondary is just going to get better because they're young.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll draft. They'll be able to draft well. Mm-hmm. And you always with those later picks, there's always somebody that slides that should have been mid first round, maybe early late. I know that sounds weird, but like around the 10th pick or around the, you know what I'm saying? There's always somebody around there that just slides and falls to a team like that, and it's like a really good ass player. It's like, oh, they get to go to the fucking Super Bowl champion, outstanding,
right? Yeah, it'll be interesting. I actually think if you think about it, they probably don't need to re-sign Godwin, as good as he is, as young as he is. But they have you bring back AB at a huge discount. He kind of takes over that number 2 role. Mm-hmm. You have Gronk, who's said he wants to come back. Cameron Brate, OJ Howard's going to be back. He'll be back and healthy. And we didn't even touch on, like, Scotty Miller was non-existent in the Super Bowl. the Tyler Johnson kid from Minnesota. I think he dropped a pass early, but he's actually really good when he's been in there in spots. So I think the Godwin thing, I think they could end up losing him. But just to keep some of like Shaq Barrett, I think you got to keep the pass rush guys.
But I think there's a shit ton of receivers coming on the draft. You can probably draft a receiver in the third
you
round.
You could draft another one too to kind of piece it together. And like I said, you got three really good tight ends. Like he's got plenty of weapons.
Spend the money on defense. Spend the money on defense. Drop your pieces that you need on offense. But if they keep that defense together, like we saw against Green Bay, Brady threw 3 picks, and you got Rodgers on the sideline talking about we need to stop. I mean, that linebackers could have went back him. Yeah, could have went back to him. We need to score.
Yeah, no shit.
Shit, you're getting stops. We're getting those, homie. Can you punch one in for us?
It's nuts, man. It's going to be interesting, with what Tampa does. But some other NFL news, you have Carson Wentz. Supposedly the Eagles are looking to move him sooner rather than later, and it seems like the lead guys are Chicago and Indianapolis. The only thing I'm hearing about it is that Philly's asking for too much right now, so they're looking for like 2 first rounders.
Oh, you're tripping.
And
they're tripping, not you, but
if I'm a GM, I could see giving like this year's first rounder. Because you have to think. Well, if you're one of those teams, if you're Chicago, why not? If you feel like you could get him back to even somewhat close to when he was in that MVP year, it's 1 year. I mean, he's better than Trubisky.
Yeah, but my thing is like I am not a believer in him. He had that year, and I give him that, yes, but he has never been able to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing with him is his health. I think talent-wise, he's got amazing talent.
Yeah,
obviously his head game's got to get there, but it's the injury stuff.
And that's the other thing. Like his injury level. Like if we were playing Madden, his injury would probably be a freaking. And I'm just throwing it out there. I'm fucking around, of course. But he'd be in the fucking 60s.
Yeah,
for me.
No, I agree.
He gets hurt at any time, and then his mental game. Like he doesn't make very good decisions.
Well, he did.
You know what I'm saying?
The weird thing is and I who knows? To go back and watch film and see what's going on. But like even the year when he got hurt and they went to the Super Bowl, and the other year was that last year or 2 years ago when he got hurt late in the season and they lost in the first round or something, like Nick Foles ended up playing. Like he played, he was playing well that year too. And it just makes me wonder, like you sit there and look at this year and the mistakes he's making, or he's just not, he's not throwing the ball. He's not getting rid of the ball. He's not hitting his checkdowns. So he's trying to play like hero ball. And so I don't know mentally where that got into his head, because and I don't know if it's because of the injuries and all these guys. So he felt like he had to make these substantial plays, but
my thing is I hear that like I read an article today that, the Raiders are choosing between, who, or maybe potentially deciding who to keep between Mariota and Carr. And if they traded Carr, they would at least get the first round draft choice, but possibly 2. You know what I'm saying? Carr, yeah, he can get a first round draft choice for sure. But you're talking Carson Wentz getting 2 first round draft choices? Like, what we're going through right now. But even what we're going through right now, I'd rather because you figure you have a first round draft choice with these teams that need a quarterback outside of Indianapolis, who I think is kind of high up there, but you still might get one of these quarterbacks that fall to you. Yeah. You can grab a quarterback in the mid first round and groom, and then snatch one of these freaking veterans as a bridge here. You know what I'm saying? Man.
And I'm saying, I don't know, like the rookie quarterbacks, I saw Todd McShay come out with his. I mean, and I feel like they're always way off on their mock drafts, but he had Trevor Lawrence, Wilson from BYU, Trey Lance from North Dakota State, Mac Jones, and Justin Fields all gone by like 13. Like, so if you're not, I trust me, I'm right there with you. Like, I don't know if I would, but if
I'm just not a believer in Carson Wentz.
If I could if I was going to sit there and give up a first round, I'd want him, obviously. and then a third to take on, or like a second or a third to take on the contract. Like, I'm just not throwing picks out there and I'm taking on this contract just to get you, because that's, you know, you guys fucked that up. So I'm having to get him and something else in return if I'm giving you a first.
But see, I'm using that as leverage. Like, I'll part with a second for him, a second maybe in a third, but you ain't getting my first round draft choice for him.
Yeah.
No way, no how. Ain't happening. Derek Carr gets a first round draft choice, potentially 2, but they're asking 2 for this guy. He hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
And what he did do was, like, and you know, NFL, if anything, is a what have you done for me lately league.
Yeah. No, that's,
you know what I'm saying?
Biggest thing.
So what have you, his bargaining level is low. He's coming
I
off
agree.
a crap year.
I think the Eagles are,
first round draft choice, kiss my ass.
Yeah, they're asking for way too much. I agree with that. But ultimately, I do see at some point, and it'll be either Chicago or Indy, that they'll end up giving a first round for him. I don't think the 2, but I think they'll end up giving a first rounder for him. Like, I just do. Because it's the quarterback position. If it was any other position, I don't think they would. And you have to think too,
and then
Indianapolis. Oh yeah, he's pouty as hell.
Being a little cake on the sideline because
there's other dudes I would rather have. But you also have to think Indianapolis. You know, Frank Reich's the head coach there. That's where he was. You know,
and the team is good.
Carson Wentz.
That would help.
Was really good. Carson Wentz, when he had his best years, Frank Reich was the OC. So I get their thoughts there. Like, if we could get him back with Frank Reich, you know, obviously rejuvenate that. But I think Nagy was under Peterson too at some point, if I remember right. But the Bears coach. But yeah, I just hope the 49ers don't end up with him. I would. And the funny thing is, I would totally swap somebody like Sam Darnold for Jimmy G. As much as people may think I'm crazy about that, but I think Sam Darnold has been in a shit situation. Has played bad, but he hasn't had the coaching that somebody like Carson Wentz has had. Like, Carson Wentz has been like, Peterson's a good coach. People can say what he wants to about whatever, but he knows what he's doing.
People go to New York to end their career.
Right. And I think Sam Darnold has enough athletic ability. You put him with somebody like Shanahan, getting him out of the pocket. That's what I'm saying. Rolling around. He's got the arm talent. And I'm not saying he'd be the end all be all, but I could see somebody. I don't think Jimmy's not the guy. So and I think there's all types of rumors of him moving, or them trying to move him for whatever. So I could see that being a move too. It's kind of interesting. The quarterbacks, which never really happens in the NFL, like the quarterbacks are being talked about being moved, which is crazy.
Moving around.
And you had news come out today with Russell Wilson kind of making the underlying comment about, like, I don't know if I'll be here for that throughout the contract. You know, kind of like.
Do you know who the top trade person is for him by betting odds?
John Gruden.
The Raiders.
I don't want to hear that shit, dog. Every time one of those quarterbacks comes up, the Raiders are like the first team that everybody talks about. And it all goes back to.
I give him a couple of head give credit. They can take a couple first rounders. Take Derek Carr, a first rounder, maybe a second too, and then whatever else you guys want to snatch. Yeah, we can do that.
Russell Wilson with the Raiders would be dangerous. God, dude, that division, poor Broncos. But that division, you have Justin Herbert, Mahomes, and then Russell Wilson. Goodness, that automatically right there becomes like arguably the toughest division in the NFL.
Yeah.
But yeah,
a lot of quarterbacks.
Been a lot
Pro Bowl quarterbacks.
Right.
People pissed off at the end of the year. How did he not make it? Oh, well.
Yeah, no shit.
Mahomes
right?
and Wilson are in the same division now, so
it's kind of crazy though. You sit and look at that. Like I think I brought it up on the podcast one time. Levante David. Obviously, I follow him. He's played at Nebraska, but he's only been in like 3 Pro Bowls, and he's constantly, and he's got like, I think he's got 4 or 5 All Pro votes, which is like by the NFL players. And so it's like one of those, like, again, you play in Tampa, the Pro Bowl votes are such anymore. Like I remember back in the day when you'd be like, oh, 17-time Pro Bowler or whatever, not 17-time, but 10-time Pro Bowler. And it was like kind of people would talk about that, but it's so just fan driven now. Like if you get in like somewhere like Tampa who hasn't won, and you're that good, you just don't get noticed. So it's kind of one of those that's interesting. But
Kenyon Barner won his third Super Bowl.
Yeah, I saw that.
Kenyon
Barner.
Duck running back.
Shady McCoy won back-to-back Super Bowls with 2 different teams. I think I saw somebody who was like the first player ever to do that. He played with
team was he on?
He was on Kansas City's last year. He was on Tampa. He was the third. He's the third string running back. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Wow.
They picked him up. I don't remember when they picked him up. He played a little bit early, but he didn't play much. I don't know what the deal is.
Go way to end your career.
Definitely, because he has not seen the field much since
I
those
didn't
last couple
know
years in Buffalo. Even in Kansas City last year, he didn't play much.
Yeah, neither did Le'Veon, and they had him this year.
Yeah, that's why maybe I'll look into that, but I don't know what happened with him because he was seeing little time here and there, and I didn't see him at all. They didn't even show him on the sideline or nothing. So that'll be.
How hard did he fall off?
Yeah, right. No shit. He took that year off. Took that year off from Pittsburgh because he wanted more money, and that was the end of his career. And you think he got paid because the Jets paid him, but
shelf life for a running back, dude.
Yeah, did shit there.
Like, there's not going to be a lot of running backs getting that second and third contract. Watch.
Yeah, because
you can just come in and plug and play.
Yeah,
with these rookies.
And it sucks, man. I feel for those dudes because they're getting shorted on that, but just the way the league is. I mean, you look at even teams that run the shit out of the football, like the 49ers, I could see Green Bay parting ways with Aaron Jones. I think his contract's up. The 49ers are the ultimate, like, what's the term?
Running back by
platoon,
committee.
Yeah, running back by committee, like platoon running backs. Like they just plug.
You can pick them up you pick them up in a 4th round, 5th round. Like, and that's Shanahan. Like, how often did his dad just? It didn't matter.
Terrell Davis.
If you were in Denver's office, you got to 100.
Mm-hmm. It's like Shanahan. I mean, he has like this Tevin Coleman, who he brought over from Atlanta, been in and out with injuries. Raheem Mostert's an undrafted dude from Purdue. Jeff Wilson, he's like, you probably don't even know who that is, but he's balled, had a couple really good games. Like, they just plug and play, man. It's freaking ridiculous. That's why Mostert, like, last year wanted this big contract, and they were like, no, like, we're not paying you the money, dude. Like, we know you're fast and everything, but we don't need to pay you.
We can get somebody else in here that's fast.
Yeah, we can put the money somewhere else, and that's the thing you're seeing. Like, again, we touched on the Cowboys, like with Ezekiel Elliott. Like, that money could have been used somewhere else.
Yeah,
but
it still can be.
Yeah, definitely. But let's jump over to the NBA here.
So LaMelo Ball.
It's been a fun week. Yeah, we could touch on LaMelo Ball first here. I will say he's definitely showed out. Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up here. His last 6 starts. So he finally started. I don't know if his last 6 starts, but his last 6 games. He's gone 24 points, 19 points, 34 points, 22 points, 14 points, 27 points. Filling the stat sheets. He's got every game's been over 5 assists, like multiple 8-9 games, 10 one game he had 10 assists, multiple like 7 rebound games. He's balling, dude. I mean, pun intended, I guess, but you can't really say much about it. Like, I saw another stat too. Currently LaMelo. Yeah, I did see that.
He got 17, 2, and 5.
But
he the game over 50%.
He currently leads all NBA rookies in total points, rebounds, assists, steals, double-doubles, triple-doubles, and player efficiency rating. Like,
it's going to be hard for him to lose the Rookie of the Year.
How do you not give that dude Rookie of the Year at this point? Like, that's at this point, like, there's nobody even close.
Yep. I agree.
And I saw a stat, I'm just trying to pull it up here, of him and Lonzo. So LaMelo Ball made 4 threes the other night. He has hit 42 threes in his 25th game. Lonzo only hit 29 in his 25th game. It's just, I mean, like we've touched on, like as awkward as his shot kind of is, not nearly as bad as Lonzo's was. Yeah. And obviously Lonzo's game to be honest with you, like Lonzo's game was never scoring. Like LaMelo was always, you always saw the highlights of him. It was always him throwing half court shots up and being flashy.
I will
like
say
that.
this: Lonzo has been playing better since LaMelo has been starting. Like tonight, he went 19-5-5. You know, he went. Yeah, he'll be hearing that at home. But yeah, not home, but in the family
Thanksgiving
house.
dinner, man.
But yeah, but he went 19-5-5. You know what I'm saying? 5 for 11 shooting, 4 for 9 from 3, 5 for 5 from the free throw, and no 1 turnover. So I've been checking, and he's been getting more efficient and better offensively. But you know, he has people on the squad where like I think they just allow LaMelo to kind of do what he do. I haven't been able to see him exactly. I just checked the box scores, but I know Brandon Ingram holds rock. Zion Williamson gets rock. You know what I'm saying? They get their touches. So Lonzo is just, you know, he plays his defense, but he's getting a lot more efficient. I think he's over his last like 10 games, he might be around 40% shooting from 3. So he's starting to pick it up.
Yeah, and I feel like he's always had the ability, like we've touched on, defensively. I think he's a problem, like and a problem in a good way. Like he's definitely can play some defense. He's big enough to do some damage there. But yeah, the Pelicans. I watched a little bit of them the other night. You know, the Laker B squad. They're getting. I think they got blown out the other night, but they're losing tonight to Chicago too.
Yeah, Lakers are getting their ass handed to them right now.
Yeah, it's just kind of an up and down season. You know, the Lakers, they I think AD's been out.
Yeah, I think he's hurting right now.
Had the Achilles issue, which I saw that, and my first thing in my head was sit him. Like it's too early in the season to try to have to play him, and I mean it's early. Lakers are losing by 20 right now, but
then you got LeBron over here talking like I don't get tired. Okay, well let's find out.
I saw something. Mike Trudell, who is a people that don't know, is like a Laker, one of the Laker reporters that's always in the back room and stuff. He said LeBron's in his 18th season, having yet to miss a game this year after playing 46 minutes last game, which this was. So he tweeted this last night. So he played 46 minutes the game before last night, 28 points, 14 boards, and 12 assists in 42 minutes last night. Like he is like, I saw a quote from him, like they were talking about, I think it was the overtime game, or it was a double overtime game or something, and he was like, I wasn't about to go to another overtime because he hit like a 3 late to win it or something, or to give him the lead to win. He's just different, man. I don't know. He seems to not be slowing down. You know, it goes back to obviously technology and you know, science and all that stuff. Learning how to take care of
his body.
Yep, learn how to take care of the human body, and you know, it goes to Tom Brady too. As much as we talk about him not being athletic, but he's probably in the best, arguably in the best shape of his career, and stays healthy, like always ready to go. But yeah, LeBron's on another level when it comes to just his.
He wants to stick around and play with his boy, man.
Yeah. It just goes back to he kind of has that, you know, you look at like these guys taking nights off and you see LeBron doing it in his whatever year this is now. I don't even remember.
Yeah, 18 or something.
And for him to be doing it, and you have these younger cats like taking nights off on back-to-backs and all that kind of stuff. It just never sat well with me, but
figure it out.
Yeah, and I will say I was going to touch on Mr. Steph Curry here for a second because he's been
balling a little bit.
Balling. Like I don't know if you've seen what he's been doing lately, but
not like seen, but like box scores.
Box scores, dude. He is like bonkers. Like tonight or last night went for 32. It's kind of crazy to think that, you know, people almost forgot about him because he is up in Golden State. Klay Thompson gets hurt, so they just kind of write him off.
I
don't know if you saw when they lost to the Spurs, went for 32 against the Spurs, but they lost. And Draymond like shot the last shot from like freaking 35 feet. And Steph just kind of like totally bricked it. And Steph just kind of, he had this look on his face like, did you really just fucking shoot that? Like, here, I'm standing over here. Like, just give me the fucking ball, dude. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it just kind of makes you wonder. But yeah, he went off against Luka. He went for 57.
Yeah,
they lost that game, but it went for 57, like 11-9. Like he's been, and then the night before that, they
need to make a trade.
They beat Dallas. He goes for 28, but he's so efficient. That's the crazy part with how much he shoots.
Yeah.
In his game,
That's
he's just
3 and a $170. Yeah.
You know, and before that went for 38 again. I think he's averaging. I saw something averaging like 36 a game or something, some ridiculous number. But
they need to go all in and get Bradley Beal.
Yeah,
have any action at doing anything.
Yeah, and it's one of those like, do you try to trade? I mean, Washington's so bad. Do you try to trade Klay Thompson and just say, here, take him?
But can you even trade somebody when they're hurt?
I don't know. I mean, if the other team agreed, why couldn't you? I don't know if there's a rule against that or not. I'm sure somebody could tell us that, but yeah.
I think, maybe you trade Draymond. Him and Westbrook together, and that should be explosive.
That would be, I would watch just for the comedic aspect of that shit. Good.
But yeah, get Bradley Beal, man. Whatever you have to do, how many picks you got to send over to Washington, you know what I'm saying? and you get that done. You pair them two together. Klay will be back next year. You got that first round draft choice right now.
Mm-hmm.
That you got the first pick.
That kid seems to be pretty good. They have that that center.
From Memphis, I think.
Yeah. He's balling.
So you go big. Why not?
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that. Even that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like, who knows if you can even trade Klay? But at this point, like, you're just wasting.
Draymond's contract has got to be up soon. Yeah. Like, he hasn't signed, and he's going to try and get max money. And
he's still. It boggles my mind again talking about like changing your game and not necessarily changing your game, but just bettering your game, and like offensively, he's gotten worse. Like, I feel like the first year or so when they were like when like the first year they won the championship, and even just right after that and right before that, offensively he was so much better.
Yep.
And it just I don't know what it is. It's like he went mental.
I think it's been the fact that he was surrounded by so much. Like, think about it. They would close the game with, it would be him, Klay, Durant, Curry, and like Iguodala.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
You got to cover.
Was like the
you got to
cover.
cover.
Think about.
Yeah, you got to cover all of them for sure. And then when he's dribbling the ball, like he can dribble, and if he beats the cat off the dribble, who's going to come off of those guys?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just feel like
and
even now, though,
Draymond.
I feel like even now
he's got to adjust his shit.
When he gets those open shots from three or whatever, like either he doesn't want to take them or he freaking bricks them. Like I feel like he doesn't make any shots anymore.
Yeah,
that's it from anywhere outside the key. And
he's not making the plays either.
No, I did see a stat today. It was kind of funny. I forgot what it was, but he had like a triple double a few years back, and it was like first player ever, I think, to do a triple double without points.
Oh wow!
It was like 11
turnovers?
Rebounds. It was like 11 rebounds, like 10 assists and 11 steals, or something like that. Like I saw it. I'm like, that's a total. It doesn't surprise me because that's definitely a stat Draymond would do. But just the fact that he did, it was like, I don't know if it was the only player ever, but it was like just the fact that it said without points. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And then I don't know if you saw anything. So I guess Brooklyn's been struggling a little bit.
Durant got snatched out of a game.
Yeah,
in the middle of the game,
and they pulled him out. And then Kyrie comes out and says they need to be better on defense. And it's like who are you telling, dude? Like, you're the one that needs to be better on defense. Like, excuse me.
Yeah. I think that game that they lost to Westbrook, without Westbrook. Bradley Beal and Westbrook like killed him with 2 threes in the last like couple seconds of the game. But I think one of the guys was his. Obviously, if they was Bill and Westbrook.
Yeah, no,
like, where were you at, bro?
Yeah, that's what always bothered me with him is he's kind of that like, no shit, it's you, dude. I will say though that I think I saw something like when they've only played like 6 games together, like the three of them, the big three, and they're 4-2 in those games. But it's
with Harden taking less shots and sacrificing his shooting game, I guess you can say,
it works.
They'll be all right. Yeah, it works. Like we talked about that earlier. It's like who's going to be the one to sacrifice and do all that kind of stuff. Harden did it. Harden came out and straight said, "Yeah, I was the man and scoring and all that for 8 years." And I mean, he's about his winning. He wants a ring.
Right.
So even today, Durant was out, and I think he had like 13, 14 points. They got blasted today, but 13, 14 points. Like he's getting people involved. Like he's really going into this role of being a point guard.
Right.
So.
And again, touched on, being with D'Antoni and stuff, so he knows the system. So that was really the easiest role for them to all meld together was for him just to be the point guard and run the offense. I did see, it's kind of funny. It's almost like though when they play, it's like whoever can get to 130 first is going to win. It's like the race to 130. So they play zero defense, but that shouldn't be a shock. Even when it's almost like the double-edged sword KD plays defense, but when you put a team with an aging DeAndre Jordan who looks awful out there playing defense with Kyrie and James Harden, and then you have Mike D'Antoni on the coaching staff, like no shit, they're not going to play defense. Like it's like the last thing on their mind is to play defense. But
score 140.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If they can get hot, they have the shooters, and if they can play efficient and do all that, they can do it. But it just goes back to that style of play. Like, is that really going to work? And it hasn't.
In the playoffs.
It hasn't in the playoffs. Yeah. And you look at all the success that D'Antoni had in Phoenix, even in Houston. When playoff time rolls around, it just never seems to work.
Issues. Yeah, had issues. Even Golden State played defense.
Yeah, definitely.
When they were scoring all those points, they played defense.
Definitely does. But real quick, we're just gonna end this here, but I do have just some random ass sports trivia. You might like this too because it's got 2 Raiders on it. So there's only 4 players in NFL history that have won the Super Bowl MVP and Heisman Trophy. It's kind of one of those. For me anyway, when you think about it, like you think of
Jim Plunkett.
Yeah, you'd probably be able to pick the Raiders for sure. But because you guys have only won 2 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls?
No, man, asshole. We won 3. Marcus Allen.
Yeah. So Jim Plunkett, Marcus Allen, from the Raiders won the Heisman, won Super Bowl MVP.
All right, hold on. Are we talking modern players?
No, the last one to do it was 97 Super Bowl.
Okay. 97 Super Bowl.
That Super Bowl was Green Bay versus New England. I was like Brett Favre was. Oh,
that's right. Desmond Howard.
Yeah.
Desmond Howard.
Desmond Howard won.
And then hold on, man.
And this one's way back. This is like
when?
Like 70s. Maybe earlier. I don't even know. He's a Dallas Cowboy.
Dallas Cowboy. So Dallas Cowboy won, and so Tony Dorsett.
No, never won the Super Bowl MVP. It was Roger Staubach, and that's why I think it might be even later.
Oh shit, he did. Yeah,
won the Heisman with
Navy.
Yeah, and then won Super Bowl. But I always thought that was kind of because for me, I think when I first heard that
out of 4.
Yeah, when I first heard that, I kind of did like you start thinking about it. And what I started doing was running through like Super Bowl teams, and then who was like the Heisman winner, like trying to match the Heisman winners. And the one I didn't get, I got Staubach, Plunkett, and Allen, and the one I didn't get was Desmond Howard. because I totally forgot he won that MVP.
Yeah.
Because I think he scored
Kick
a receiving
return.
touchdown, had the kick return for the touchdown.
Kick return, yeah.
He got
I
that
remember
MVP,
it.
but that was the one I was like, God, who's that last dude? And then he's kind of right before, what was it, 97? So he's by far the youngest of the group. But
and the thing is I was actually thinking I went to Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, he got hurt. He got hurt. He broke his collarbone and separated his shoulder in that Super Bowl with Green Bay. So that wasn't it.
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
Yeah, not too bad. But yeah, so we'll end it there. This is Al Maha signing out.
Later.